It's been a while since we did face cam video and I'm excited. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's the one and only, your girl, the cartoon hotspot. And in today's video, I'm going to be reacting to my subscribers' unpopular opinions on Miraculous Ladybug. The last time I made an unpopular opinions video was about 2 years ago, halfway through season 4 was airing. So I thought, you know what, since we're halfway through season 5, 2 years later, why not see how many new opinions have blossomed? So this should be fun. A month ago, I asked you guys to send in your unpopular opinions. I posted it on my community tab, and thank you so much for pulling through. But I'm not going to be able to read all of them. So the ones that I do read are probably the ones that I saw first. And if I didn't read yours out, it's most likely that someone had that same opinion and I just saw theirs before. If you guys want me to make another video, let me know down in the comment section below and I'll be sure to try and feature your unpopular opinion on Miraculous Ladybug. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And for returning subscribers, welcome back. Be sure to click that like, subscribe, and hit that bell button for post notifications. Without further ado, let's begin. So I'm actually going to share a few of my unpopular opinions, and after I finish sharing them, I'm going to react to my subscribers' unpopular opinions. Okay, number 1, let's go. A lot of the fandom during season 4 were more concerned about Cat Noir's feelings and Ladybug abandoning him, rather than seeing the overall picture. And I'm not talking about Cat Blanc, and I'm not talking about Ladybug becoming the guardian. I'm talking about what Master Fu conditioned Marinette to do from, let's say, season 2. From season 2, Master Fu has always been hell-bent on making sure Marinette doesn't tell Cat Noir things that concern the both of them, and it actually became a problem in the episode Siren, till the point that Marinette had to ask Master Fu to stop leaving Cat Noir in the dark because it was affecting their relationship. Whenever she'd summon a lucky charm and it'd lead her back to Master Fu, she couldn't exactly tell Cat Noir where she was going. Because she's been conditioned to do that, when you keep doing things continuously, even if it's not by choice, it eventually becomes second nature. To the point in season 4, that was the root of Lady Noir's miscommunication. Cat Blanc and Ladybug becoming the guardian, they were both factors and triggers, but the whole root of Lady Noir's miscommunication was the fact that Fu kind of drove a wedge between them by establishing a close relationship with Marinette, but not really establishing a close relationship with the Black Hat holder. Master Fu was a terrible mentor. A lot of people just blamed Marinette and jumped at the opportunity to slander her in season 4 for abandoning Cat Noir's feelings. I promise you, Cat Noir would live. He's not gonna die just because Ladybug was keeping a few secrets from him. But you guys refuse to see how Master Fu really affected Marinette. And as much as I dislike Master Fu, I actually do appreciate his character because Master Fu is a foil to Marinette. He's exactly what Marinette shouldn't become. Master Fu spent all of his life running away from his problems and living a life of guilt. And Master Fu is a character that shows Marinette could easily become like him if she doesn't trust the people around her, if she doesn't trust her partner. But luckily, Marinette learned from her mistakes before it was too late. My second unpopular opinion, and some of you guys are not gonna like this, especially the ones that do not like Marinette. Most of the fandom waters down Marinette's character to just being obsessed with Adrien. Sometimes the fandom refuses to see that Marinette does have a character outside of being in love with Adrien. And then when we call you out on it, your excuse is, oh, Marinette isn't as nuanced, Marinette isn't as interesting as Adrien. You do realize a character can be interesting without having a tragic backstory. Marinette herself is pretty interesting, which is why she is a protagonist, main character for a reason. Marinette was bullied 4 years prior to the events of the Origins episode. Marinette is an aspiring fashion designer. Marinette is Ladybug, for crying out loud. Marinette became the guardian at the age of 14. Marinette does have a character, she does have her character nuances, but people will only focus on her crush and obsession with Adrien, which isn't fair. My third unpopular opinion kind of follows on from my second one. Miraculous Ladybug is a very, unique show, to say the least. And you are allowed to be drawn to whatever element of the show you are drawn to. Some people are watching it for the Sentimonster storyline. Other people are watching it for Adrien and Gabriel's relationship, okay? Other people are watching it for the love square. I know most people are watching it for the love square and have been for the past 7 years it's been airing. But because of that, a lot of the fandom will only judge episodes based on how much Love Square content there is. And it's that is so unfair. There are some great episodes with hardly any Love Square content, but some reason those will be like very underrated because there's like a lack of Lady Noir or Adrienne. Like Feast, Reunion, Evolution, top tier episodes in my opinion. Very little Love Square content, but those will be the most underrated episodes. Also, because a lot of the fandom care a little bit too much about the Love Square and refuse to acknowledge other elements in the show, sometimes you will water down a specific scene just to use it as a means for a shipping war. And a prime example I keep seeing every time on social media, Marinette, or Ladybug rather, had a breakdown or a panic attack, in the episode Strike Back. And instead of that being focused to her character, that being pivotal to her character, what do I see? I see a lot of people saying, oh my gosh, this Ladrian scene was so cute. It ate up the rest of the Lady Noir scenes. This Ladrian scene was the best, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, yeah, it was really sweet that Adrienne was trying to calm Marinette down from having a panic attack. But I don't really think it was a shipping moment. It had really nothing to do with a ship. My final unpopular opinion, and I don't think you guys will like this one either, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Adults in the fandom project way too much of their expectations onto characters who we know are teenagers. Let's remind ourselves that Alia, Nino, Marinette Kagami, Adrienne, you name it, are 14 years old. So some of us who are watching, who are very well adults, we kind of expect too much from a 14-year-old, knowing fully well they're not going to act how we expect them to act. And when they don't act how we want them to act, we start slandering them. We're forgetting the fact that they're 14. They're going to make mistakes, dumb mistakes, might I add. Also, a lot of us seem to forget that Miraculous is exaggerated because it's a kid's show. And I actually saw a Tumblr post on it, so I'm going to read it out just to back up my point. Lady Moonlight said, "The plot of every single episode is for kids. It's literally meant to entertain kids, but the plot in its whole is too deep to be understood by kids, and that's why Miraculous is also interesting to teenagers/adults." Which is exactly why I don't understand some adults projecting their high expectations onto teenagers. For example, Alia and Nino get way too much hate just because they believe Lila over Marinette. And yes, I do understand that Alia is Marinette's best friend, Nino is also Marinette's friend, but you need to remember in the context of the show, Lila is a manipulative Lila. She is a mastermind manipulator. Some of the lies that she tells are exaggerated and they are dumb for kids to understand that, oh, Lila is bad news. Lila is a liar. But for us, it seems a little bit dumb. So then we're like, okay, why is Alia and Nino not believing Marinette? That's the point. In the context of the show, Lila is manipulating them. Okay, so that's why I really feel like adults should really stop projecting their expectations onto kids. Once upon a time, we were all 14, okay? So Nino not being able to keep his mouth shut, I promise you, there are some of you who probably could not keep a secret to save your life. His big mouth could get him in a lot of trouble because he's a superhero, but it's exaggerated just to emphasize that's his flaw. People saying, oh my gosh, Marinette is like so creepy, she memorized her crush's schedule. I've got a confession to make. Some of us did that in secondary or high school, whatever you want to call it. Some of us did that. It's just exaggerated in the show because it's a kid's show. Okay, so yes, some of these characters be making the stupidest mistakes and doing the silliest of things, but that's the point. So stop projecting your expectations onto them and understand at the end of the day, they're kids. Okay, so now that I've shared my unpopular opinions, I'm now going to read out your unpopular opinions. And just to be on the safe side, some of them do include leaks. So if there is one that includes a leak, I will be sure to put a leak warning, and I'll even put a timestamp where you can skip to the video to avoid the leak. So you stay leak and spoiler free. The first opinion is from Lillian Miraculous, who says, "My opinion is that Adrienne went so fast this season. There are no episodes where Marinette accepts that she cannot be with Cat Noir. Even though they did show that Adrienne did have feelings for Marinette, they needed to show in season 4 that he was blushing and his conflicting feelings." I agree, I disagree. Because I feel like Adrienne's feelings for Marinette has always been there. He just never realized it, because his feelings for Ladybug were so passionate and just so like overwhelming in a good way that he never really allowed himself to realize that the love he feels for Marinette is calming, you know, it's the calm to his storm, blah blah blah. Marinette provides a different kind of love, a comforting type of love, and once he allowed himself to feel that, he went straight for it and asked her out. And Adrienne does not waste time. Like when Adrienne wants something, he goes for it. So I don't think Adrienne went super fast this season, and I don't think Adrienne's feelings for Marinette were random. This one says, "Marinette is a 14-year-old girl who is written by older men. That's why she comes off as creepy sometimes. That stalker BS is how men are taught by media to seek love. It's how older dudes genuinely think teen girls behave because they don't relate to them and only experience high school as a hormonal boy. Hence why they retroactively wrote in some trauma for her to make the weird invasive nonsense seem understandable. I'm not excusing it, but it's obvious that the fully grown men writing the girl's character don't actually understand the mindset of a real girl. So getting irrationally angry and hating her is just dumb and a waste of energy. I agree with that last part. In terms of Marinette being creepy, sometimes it is creepy, other times I'm like, okay, this is a little bit exaggerated, so I don't care too much. But if you find it creepy, that's completely okay. Like, I'm not gonna tell you what you can or can't find creepy. And yes, I also agree about older men writing a teenage girl. Sometimes the writers miss the mark, other times they don't, but most times they do. In regards to the trauma that Marinette faced, and that is explained in season 5, so this is a leak warning, by the way, so if you haven't skip now. So basically in the episode Derision, it's explained that Marinette had a crush on Kim a few years ago and asked him out, but Kim played a really nasty prank on her when they were out on a date, and that's why Marinette has been so scared to fall in love, because of that prank, that nasty prank that Kim played. It's why Marinette is very obsessive. Marinette wants to take control of everything. She has to know everything about her crush because she's afraid of getting hurt. She's afraid of getting rejected. And I don't think that's random. I honestly do not think that's random at all. I think it makes complete and perfect sense. Since season 2, I kind of realized the way Marinette acts in regards to her crush with Adrian, no one really acts that way unless they're afraid of something. You can't be afraid of rejection if you haven't already been rejected. That's my opinion. Feel free to disagree. So I kind of knew that, okay, the way Marinette acts around Adrian, she's afraid of something, but it hasn't been explained. And it kind of was hinted in season 4 when she said she tries to take control over everything. So yeah, I don't find that random. I don't agree, I don't disagree. I'm just kind of in the middle. Next one, Cat Walker should have stuck around a little longer. That was a lot of forced development in one episode. They forced Ladybug to miss him in too short amount of time. In my opinion, they should have kept Cat Walker for 3 episodes. Episode 1 to introduce him, then episode 2 would be a normal episode just with Cat Walker, and then episode 3 she would lose it and miss Cat Noir. You know what? I'd kind of be down for that. Yeah, I do think Cat Walker's development was a little bit rushed, but I don't think it was a terrible episode. I think Kuroneko was one of the strongest episodes, with or without Cat Walker being rushed into one episode. I'm gonna have to kind of agree. Second one, Chloe should have remained Queen Bee, but not by begging for it, by slowly seeing her faults, then changing and becoming a better person. I disagree. I think the point of Chloe's character is that no matter how many chances you give someone, if they do not want to help themselves, if they do not want to change, you cannot do anything more than that. You've tried your best. Marinette tried her best to get through to Chloe. Adrian tried his best. Zoe tried her best. But Chloe just does not want to change. And we've seen so many shows where the mean girl or the antagonist of the series has a redemption arc. I think Miraculous does something different by showing us that Chloe doesn't want to change, and that's fine. My only issue with Chloe not changing is the fact that she should have been written off by season 4. Again, season 5, her presence is just very irritating. It's awkward. You can tell the writers don't really know what to do with her. She's not even funny at this point, okay? She's just annoying. This one says, there's been multiple times where people would say there were a lot of plot holes or stuff that didn't make sense, and then it got explained later on. Miraculous fans need to learn to be patient and trust that some things will be revealed with time. Why I agree with this statement is that some things just need the time to come to fruition. Some things need to be planted in like season 3 and then finally be explained and revealed later on in season 5. Like, you can't rush writing and you can't rush plot. But then why I disagree as well is because the writers of Miraculous are kind of like notorious for setting up some things and like establishing really good storylines, and then you can tell when they get sloppy and they just don't know what to do or how to conclude the storyline. For example, the Senti being storyline, in my opinion, is the strongest storyline in Miraculous. It's so detailed, it's so nuanced, and it actually ties into the overarching plot. It's genius. I'm not even going to lie to you, it's genius. However, there's a thing as like waiting for the perfect time, and then there's a thing as too much time, okay? And you can tell with the Senti Bean storylines, they kind of try to pack too much into season 5, where they actually abandon certain great potential for it. And honestly, there are a lot of plot holes in the Senti being storyline. As great as it is, it's heavily flawed. There is still some stuff that hasn't been answered, and I'm sorry, Thomas Asterisk, but answering them on Twitter isn't enough, okay? Because some of your answers are pretty vague. We need answers, and it doesn't seem like we're going to get those answers. So yes, on one hand, Miraculous fans do need to be patient, but on the other hand, sometimes when we wait and wait and wait for something to be answered, we don't get the answer that's satisfactory. Okay, next one. I really don't like Marinette's parents. Even though they seem nice, loving, and caring, they're very much deadbeat. For starters, how did they never realize that Marinette was horrifically depressed for God knows how long at the start of season 4? We all give crap to Adrian's parents for being awful parents, which they absolutely are, but what about Tom and Sabine? Where were they when Marinette was all alone and vulnerable multiple times? I wouldn't say they're awful parents, but I agree. Because yeah, anyone could mask their emotions and pretend to be okay, but it's Marinette we're talking about. Marinette isn't actually very good at hiding her emotions. You would know straight away just how sad she is. But also not just like Marinette's depression in season 4. In regards to Marinette being bullied by Chloe for 4 years, in real life, victims of bullying don't often tell their parents. They just kind of, don't say anything. But I feel like they would have suspected she is being bullied. They probably didn't understand how severe it was. But let's remember, I think in the episode Transmission, Chloe states that she bullied Marinette so badly to the point Marinette had to ask Chloe for permission to come into school. If your child is missing several days of school for no absolute reason whatsoever, you would be concerned that, okay, maybe they're avoiding someone at school, someone's picking on them, someone's bullying them, but I don't really think they did anything about it. In the episode Derision, where Kim played that nasty prank on Marinette, I am pretty sure Sabine asked Sokoline to keep an eye out on Marinette and look after her. Why would you ask Marinette's friend to look out for her if you weren't afraid that Marinette is going through something? As a parent, if my kid was being bullied or was acting strange, even though I didn't really know the full picture, I would very much be relentless in trying to figure out what's going on. No kid of mine is going to be bullied, okay? They may not want to say anything to me, but I will get that information. And I know it seems hard, but I just don't think Tom and Sabine were very adamant in trying to help their daughter. Tom and Sabine, they're not awful parents, but they've had their moments where they're not great parents. Okay, this one says, flaming hot take. Brace yourself. Season 5 is by far the worst season of the show, and it's not even a competition. The writing went even lower than it already was. The only decent episode of the season was Passion, and only because it was kind of surprising to find out Natalie's backstory and motive, but that's it. I don't think season 5 is the weakest season when season 3 exists. I hate season 3, and I will always make it known that I hate season 3, but that's besides the point. I don't think season 5 is the worst. And I can't judge it for being the best because it's still running, it's not over yet. But from the leaks that I've seen, I would say that season 5 started off pretty strong, but then some of the writing decisions that the writers took for the direction of the season ultimately make it a little weaker than what I thought it would be. I think season 5 has produced some of the strongest episodes so far this season. Evolution, for that matter. Reunion was a fun episode. Passion, I do agree with your opinion. Passion is one of the best episodes of the series. Emotion was a top tier episode. That episode had me at the edge of my seat. I enjoy season 5 so far. This one says, Luca is really overrated in Miraculous. No one calls him out for his mistakes, especially in Ephemeral. He just seems so unreal to me more than Adrian because he's just too unrealistically calm. I agree. Luca found out Marinette and Adrian are Ladybug and Cat Noir. But when Ladybug asked him, did you find out our identities? He straight up denied the truth and lied. And it's not your secret to keep. He probably just didn't want to tell her because he didn't want her to be stressed or whatever. But that wasn't his call to make. And Luca, whether or not you want to admit it, indirectly, pay attention to my words, indirectly led to the events of Ephemeral. He should have told Marinette from the beginning. When he had 2 opportunities to tell her the truth, he didn't do that, okay? Whereas with Alia and Nino, Marinette instructed Alia, do not tell Nino that you are still Rena Rouge in hiding. And yes, Alia did disobey Marinette and didn't tell her that she still told Nino, but at the end of the day, it's her identity. It's like, it's not as if Alia was keeping a secret regarding somebody else's identity. And at the end of the day, if Alia hadn't had told Nino she's still Reno Rouge, Nino wouldn't have been able to save her in the episode Strike Back. But no one ever talks about that. Everyone's just like, oh, Alia's a bad friend, she lied to Marinette, blah, blah, blah. But Luca did the same thing, and yet crickets. No one's calling Luca out for his mistakes at all. And I just don't understand it. Like, again, I don't hate Luca. I think he could be way more interesting of a character than he already is. But his fans kind of make his presence a bit annoying. This one says, people keep complaining about CGI and the fact that the show gave up on its 2D anime art style, but I disagree immensely. Sure, we miss out on a great stylistic exercise, but one, we have good enough anime as it is, and two, we need more good CGI shows. I agree. I see this video of like the PV or the anime version of Miraculous always circulating on Twitter at least every month, and it gets tiring because I actually prefer the CGI show of Miraculous Ladybug. People who circulate that clip forget that the original premise of Miraculous Ladybug, or at least like some of the characters in the PV version of the show, weren't that likable. I'm sorry, like anime Adrian is not a likable character. I would not have been invested in a story. I like the current Adrian Agreste we have now. Okay, Marinette is still a sweetheart in the PV version, but Miraculous at the end of the day is a 3D show. It could have been an anime, but it's not. Okay, this one says, the episode Felix was a bad introduction to his character. Rewatching it, I don't really see how anything he does in that episode helps him get the Peacock Miraculous or save the Sentis. Yes. I've had this opinion for the longest time. Okay, comparing all the Felix-centered episodes, so we've got Felix, his introduction, Gabriel Agreste, Risk, Strike Back, and Emotion and Pretension, that's in season 5. When you compare all those episodes, you would find that the episode Felix's introduction just seems very out of place, because it's pretty much made clear that Felix is an anti-villain, okay? He has a goal and he has his mission, but he doesn't mind going about it in a non-heroic way. He's willing to do whatever it takes, even if it means being the bad guy to some people. That's completely fine. He's a morally grey character. That's interesting. However, there are just some things where, like in the episode Felix, it just doesn't aid his mission at all. It's just like he's just doing it out of spite. Whereas Felix's character, he doesn't do things out of spite. He does things because he needs to do them, and he doesn't mind doing them as long as he gets what he needs. In the episode Felix, it's just kind of like, why is he acting like this? Like, why is he sending such horrible messages to Adrian's friends? Why did he corner Ladybug and pressure her into kissing him when she clearly said no? Luckily, Ladybug punched him, as she should, because ew, no. Yeah, Felix's introduction was very messy. I would rather have Gabriel Agreste be his introduction episode. You'd have to tweak some things a little bit to make it a good introduction episode, but I feel like Gabriel Agreste could really have been the better candidate for Felix's introduction. The episode Felix in itself is one of the weakest episodes in the series and the weakest episode in season 3. Okay, this one says, I don't like Nathaniel. He's unfairly mean to Mark and he has a pretty negative personality, all things considered. In all honesty, I don't hate Nathaniel, but I don't care for Nathaniel either. Like, I feel like he was just very silly in the episode Reversa, like him thinking Mark actually had the diary of Ladybug. Like, come on, apply a bit of common sense, okay? And don't get your hopes up for no reason. But yeah, I don't hate Nathaniel. I just think he's just there. I don't really care too much about him, but cool. This one says, Alia isn't a very good friend. Whenever a certain individual is involved, Marinette, according to Alia, is suddenly jealous, obsessive, and doing the most when Alia herself has made convoluted plans, sometimes without Marinette's knowledge. Also, Alia does not respect boundaries. There's a fine line between trying to be helpful and invading. Alia and the other classmates, for that matter, have been extremely intrusive in Marinette's love life, and that's not okay. I don't think Alia is a terrible friend, and I don't think she's a bad friend. I think she's a really good friend, but she has her weak moments, she has her flaws, and I completely agree that Alia can be a bit invasive, and the other classmates as well. An example that comes to mind that did not show Alia in a really, really good light, it actually was one of her worst moments as a friend. was the New York special when her, Nino, Jess and Aeon like formulated a ridiculous plan to try and get Adrian and Marinette to confess their feelings. Like, first of all, leave them alone. We've seen multiple times in this series that when Marinette and Adrian are just left alone to just deal with their business, they seem to be fine. Yes, Marinette like stutters a lot and she says some weird things, but they're fine. They're only not fine when people try interfere with their relationship and help them. They do not need your help. The New York special, it was really weird how like, I don't know who came up with the plan. I think it was Jess, but Alia and Nino shouldn't have gone along with it because they initially thought it was a crazy idea, but they still went along with it. Like, I'm sorry, locking Adrian and Marinette in a museum room and then projecting a fake villain could have easily caused one of them to like panic. If it was anybody else, they probably would have panicked in that situation, but because Marinette and Adrian are like used to being in dangerous situations because they're heroes, I guess they're given more of the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, you don't lock someone in a museum room and then like try to get them to confess their feelings. It just doesn't work. You need to leave them alone and mind your business. But yeah, I do understand and I do agree that Alia can be invasive, but I don't think she's a terrible friend. Okay, this one by Alina Shakura said, Gabriel is not a sympathetic nor a really great villain. He has really leaned into the evil act, like the evil laugh in the monologues and even outright stating he'll take over the world. Not to mention he's kind of dumb with repeating the same method of akumatizing people as soon as he senses a negative emotions and not just doing much with it except hope this will be it. Gabriel is not sympathetic. I don't actually sympathize for Gabriel at all, but I don't think he's a bad villain. I actually think he's a great villain. So I'm gonna make a video on Gabriel Agreste and why I think he's actually a really good villain. And in terms of like the whole evil monologues and the he'll take over the world thing, again, it's exaggerated for kids to understand that yes, Hawkmoth is the bad guy. Another one from Elena says, this show has a black and white perspective problem. What I mean by nuance is how we don't see other perspectives with other characters and try to understand their point of view. Like if the civilians were against the heroes, the show portrays them as in the wrong and that they should completely believe in the heroes. But sometimes they may have a point in their beliefs. Like maybe they're tired of the heroes having not defeated Monarch yet, or angry that she has unintentionally made Monarch more powerful. Their feelings would be reasonable because they are at their wits' end with the Akuma attacks or the akumatization itself. They did kind of show this in the episode Reunion, where the people on the internet were just basically talking about how bad Ladybug has been doing or something and how frustrated they were with the whole like Monarch having like 14 Miraculouses. They did kind of touch upon that, but I do agree with your point. I'd like to see more people turn against Ladybug. I think that would add more to her character, in all honesty. Marinette's whole character, or at least a part of her character, is that she's afraid of people not believing in her. She's afraid of disappointing people and not living up to expectations. And this will be a great opportunity for that. So yeah, I completely agree. This one seems pretty unpopular. So the Mad Bunnick said, Thomas Astruc seems to have a very good understanding of human nature to me. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Does Thomas Astruc have a very good understanding of human nature to me? Possibly. I feel like if you are a creator and a showrunner or like writer of a series, you should have a good understanding of human nature because fiction imitates reality. So yeah, I'd be inclined to agree, I guess. I feel like in some cases in Miraculous, he does hit the nail on the head. Some situations in which the characters are put in, you would know that yes, this is actually how the character would react. It's accurate. And in other times you're like, oh, this is a bit out of character. It's a bit, you missed the mark. But overall, I think he's okay with understanding human nature, I guess. Okay, this one's really unpopular and I can't tell if this person is just trolling me or they were being dead serious, but this one says, Gabriel isn't a bad dad at all. With certain unpopular opinions, you really do have to explain and defend your reasoning because I don't think the show showed otherwise. I think they made it very clear from the beginning that Gabriel is a terrible human being and a terrible father to Adrian. So I'm gonna have to hard disagree with this one. Okay, the final unpopular opinion, and it is a little bit lengthy, so I'm gonna try my best to cut it down a bit, but it says, this show isn't a good show, but what's worse is that it's not trying to be. It's just a huge marketing scam. So ever notice how since season 1, every season ends with such high stakes, and then almost immediately the next season just does some huge plot armor shenanigans and lower the stakes, and then it'll be boring for the majority of the rest of the season until the ending finale episodes, and the cycle continues. So we have season 1's ending. Adrian's dad has the Miraculous book, which leads to both Ladybug and Cat Noir having Gabriel be the prime suspect. And then the beginning of season 2, suddenly Ladybug and Cat Noir can't believe that the butterfly holder can akumatize themselves. Most painful of all, season 4's ending, Gabriel has all of the Miraculous and their Kwame. Then we have evolution. Monarch gets knocked out, and somehow Cat Noir and Ladybug don't think to take off any of the Miraculous. Destruction, chronologically, apparently Cataclysm can affect the holder through their suit. Now, despite in Miraculous, Cat Noir getting that same thing happened to him, and he didn't get the same effect that Monarch did. I kind of disagree, because with Destruction, it was explained that because Gabriel or Monarch took off with Ladybug's lucky charm, she wasn't able to heal Gabriel. Whereas in the episode Miraculous, when Cat Noir got Cataclysm, Ladybug still had her lucky charm at the end of the day, and so the damage was repaired. That's not really like lowering the stakes and increasing them, that's just Miraculous lore and logic. The only part that I will agree with is that my issue with Miraculous is that when something like high stakes happen, sometimes they will find a cheap way to resolve it that doesn't really feel satisfactory. Like sometimes a character in Miraculous could be put in a situation that is high stakes, and in order to resolve it, the character would do something dumb that doesn't really make sense. In Destruction, like they had Monarch right where they needed him. They had him there, and instead of just grabbing the closest Miraculous possible, like the horse Miraculous, whatever Miraculous was on Monarch's head, like Ladybug just stood there monologuing. No hate to Marinette or whatever, I just don't understand why Ladybug will stand there explaining her plan when she could just grab as many Miraculouses as possible. It's cheap, it's lazy, and Marinette is smarter than that. And that brings us to the end of this video. I really had fun reading out all of your unpopular opinions and reacting to them. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to share this video, like, comment, and if you're new to my channel, subscribe, because I've got plenty more Miraculous Ladybug content which I am sure you will enjoy. I've got video essays, analysis videos, so be sure to hit that bell button so you never miss when I upload. But as for today, that's it from your girl, the Cartoon Hotspot, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!